The sun hadn't yet crested the hills when I first heard the gravel crunch under my boots, the only sound in the stillness of my Vineyard. 14 acres of gnarled nests and dusty soil, bought cheap at a bank auction 2 years back, had become my sanctuary. I'm Jack Ramsey, 37, a former city cop turned county deputy with a past spent mapping oil fields and private parcels from Texas to Arizona. I know boundaries, how to draw them, how to hold them. This land, overgrown and half dead when I found it, was mine now. I'd fought root rot, rebuilt irrigation, and poured my sweat into every trellis. My modest ranch house, oak-framed with a wraparound porch, sat proud, shared only with my dog, Scout, and a couple of seasonal hands for harvest. This was my peace until Meadow VYEW Estates decided to rewrite my map. It started with a knock on a bright May morning. I was sharpening pruning shears on the porch when a woman in a peach blouse and heels wobbled up my drive, clutching a folder like it was a court summons. "Good morning," she chirped, her smile tighter than a drum. "I'm Linda Carver, president of the Meadow VYEW Estates Homeowners Association." Her tone begged for a salute. I leaned back, wiping my hands. "Morning. Jack Ramsey, Vineyard owner, non-member, neighbor." Her smile twitched. "We're hosting an orientation for adjacent property owners. It's about harmony, you see." I raised an eyebrow. "I'm not on your page, Linda. Different zoning, different rules." Her heels clicked double time back to her SUV, no goodbye. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. Meadow VYEW Estates had sprouted 5 years ago along my eastern fancy sprawl of beige stucco, solar panels, and smug SUVs. I could live beside it, I figured, but I didn't expect it to try swallowing me whole. A week later, just after sunrise, I spotted them, for figures by my fence, clipboards in hand, murmuring in that fake nice HOA tone. Linda led the pack, her haircut sharp enough to slice bread. I strolled over, coffee in hand, Scout at my heel. "Morning, Mr. Ramsey," Linda cooed, while VYing a rolled-up document like a scepter. "We've re-VYEU'd updated county maps. 6 acres of your property rear section are part of our community greenbelt. Open access for residents." I blinked. "You're saying 6 acres of my Vineyard just became your hiking trail?" She didn't flinch. "It's surveyed, filed, and legal. You can re-VYEW it at the county office." I sipped my coffee, fighting a laugh. "That fence predates your clubhouse. This land's been private since before your cul-de-sacs were paved. I checked the deeds before I bought it." A man behind her opened his mouth, but I cut him off. "I deal in deeds and property law, not buzzwords. Show me an easement signed by me, notarized, or you're on the wrong side of this chat." Linda's smile hardened. "We hope you won't make this contentious." I took a slow breath. "You're trespassing. Leave." I turned and walked away, calm but burning. They'd poked the wrong man. 3 days later, I was tying VY nests when sirens wailed. 2 patrol cars screamed down my road, lights flashing like it was a hostage crisis. Scout went nuts, and my guts sank. I met them at the gate, hands VY Seibel. Deputy Collins, a young guy I knew, stepped out with another officer, hand twitching near his holster. "Got a 911 call," Jack, Collins said. "Man with a rifle threatening kids on your east side." I stared. "Kids? I haven't seen a soul here in months, and my guns are locked up." They searched, found nothing but VY nests and breeze on my cameras. The call traced back to Linda Carver, claiming she saw it from her backyard through a ridge and a mile of trees. A lie so bold it stank. I filed a formal complaint for false reporting, setting a legal tripwire. That night, I sat on the porch with a beer, Scout snoring, and wrote every detail down. They weren't just testing meth, they were drawing a target. Then came the flyer, glossy and smug, wedged in my gate. Meadow VYEW Estates expands nature access. It screamed, with a drone shot of my Vineyard, Scout mid-bark in the corner. The text claimed my 6 acres were now communal land for their trails. I drove to the county office, deed and plat map in hand. The receptionist confirmed an updated filing submitted by Linda, approved as routine with a surveyor's signature. The surveyor? Walter Klein, a man I'd worked with a decade ago. Problem was, Walter had been dead for 6 years. I printed the fake map, marched to the recorder's office, and laid it out. The super VY sore's face went gray. "We'll open a VYEW, he muttered. Quietly. I nodded. "I'm filing an AFIDA VYT. If this goes further, it's federal." The next blow came at dawn. My Eastern fence simple wire and post was cut. 2 posts snapped clean. 3 men in neon vests stood 50 feet inside my land, GPS units and tape measures in hand, like they owned it. Scout growled as I approached, voice low. "Why the hell are you on my Vineyard, stepping on my irrigation?" The leader, a wiry guy in contractor boots, shrugged. "Boundary reassessment. Me do vu hua dizet." I stepped closer. "You cut my fence. That's felony vandalism. Got permission." He flashed a badge. HOA contractor. I dialed the sheriff. 60 seconds, or you're explaining to deputies. 20 minutes later, deputies Harper and Ruiz arrived. I showed them the busted fence, the fake map, and a flash drive one nervous contractor handed over. Back at the house, we opened it. Folders labeled HOA expansion, editable maps, forged signature templates. It wasn't just my land, 7 other properties were targeted, some marked elderly owner, unlikely to resist. The deputies cuffed the leader, seized the gear, and I logged the drive as he VY Denke. My chest loosened, but I wasn't smiling. They brought blueprints for a crime scene. By Monday, the county prosecutor, Ms. Ellison, had the drive. The sheriff's office buzzed like a beehive. The files revealed a land laundering scheme, forged maps, backdated records, and plans to strong-arm neighbors. A whistleblower, Sarah Nguyen, the HOA's assistant secretary, cracked it wide open. Pale and shaking, she turned over a burner phone with recordings of Linda, saying, "By the time they figure it out, we'll have the zoning changed and sold. Let them sue, it's cheaper." Ellison called it a confession with flair. Warrants flew, Linda's assets froze, and her email server was seized. They arrested Linda at an HOA meeting mid-PowerPoint about Phase 3 vision. Deputies Harper and Ruiz marched in, cuffs gleaming. "Linda Carver, you're under arrest for fraud, conspiracy, and obstruction." The room froze. Linda sputtered about jealous neighbors and misunderstandings, but they walked her out past stunned residents. The HOA crumbled, board members resigned, emails were deleted, and the county took control. I testified at the preliminary hearing, laying out the forged maps, recordings, and flash drive. The prosecutor called it a criminal enterprise. Linda got no bail. The trial lasted 9 days, each one peeling back another lie. I took the stand on day 3, badge polished, and walked the jury through every step from Linda's porch VY sit to the USB stick stuffed with forgeries. The defense claimed I was biased, but my cameras, maps, and Linda's own voice buried them. On day 7, a forensic examiner exposed manipulated PDFs and copied signatures. On day 9, the verdict hit: guilty on all counts: fraud, conspiracy, impersonation, obstruction. Linda got 3 years, no parole for 18 months. 3 board members got 6 months to 2 years. The judge dismantled the HOA, ordered a land audit, and restored my boundaries with a no HOA clause. My Vineyard was mine again. I rebuilt the fence steel posts, concrete anchors, solar lights. Scout and I hung a brass sign: private property. Entry by and VY Tatayon only. Love of wine and law required. My worker, Luis, laughed as we bolted it up. The VY nest thrived, yielding a killer harvest. I bottled a red blend, line in the dirt, and local restaurants ate it up. Word spread as sheriff turned. V. Whitener, who took down a crooked HOA. I built a tasting deck, strung lights, and poured glasses for locals and curious townsfolk. One day, a Meadow VYEW resident bought 2 bottles, admitting she'd stayed silent during Linda's reign. I nodded. She wasn't after forgiveness, just peace. I got that. The county sent a plaque for land integrity, but I hung it in the fermentation shed next to my uncle's hammer. A prosecutor from the next county called, asking for help with a similar scam. I said I'd listen. I'm no crusader, but I know a con. Walking my land one morning, I checked every post, every wire. No gaps, no intruders. At the gate, I hung a final sign: J. Ramsey, Sheriff, Vintner, landowner. No trespassing. No exceptions. Below it, a smaller plate. Touch a grape, bring a warrant. Luis grinned. Think they'll try again? I looked at the hills, sun rising, dew steaming. Not twice. Peaston shouted slipped in quietly, like fog over the VY-ness. No flyers, no drones, just a crunch of gravel and scouts, steady tread. But small towns turned private fights into legends, and my name started to carry weight. I didn't ask for it, but I'd earned iTone Post, one VY any, one truth at a time. What do you think did Linda deserve 3 years? Or should the judge have thrown the book harder? Could you stand your ground like Jack? Or would the paperwork scare you off? Ever dealt with an HOA gone rogue? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories where the little guy fights back.